Hello, today I will be comparing the three revolutions from the 18th, 19th, and 20th century. The revolutions I have chosen is the French Revolution, Argentine Revolution, and Russian Revolution. The French Revolution was a period of violent and political disorder that began in 1789 to 1799, and not only affected French but also European history. In 3 years, the world witnessed the fall of absolute monarchy that had ruled France for centuries. The high price of bread, expensive taxes, and the monarchy's large debts were what eventually triggered a series of destructive events, leading to the creation of constitutional monarchy, providing way for the ruling of Napoleon Bonaparte, who created the Code of Napoleon, which greatly affected peasants and made the legal system fairer. Some of the more important events include fall of the Bastille, when an angry mob of commoners marched to Bastille in an attempt to make a statement against the monarchy. March on Versailles, when a furious mob of nearly 7,000 women marched from Paris to the Palace of Versailles with muskets and pitchforks, complaining about the high price of bread, and were certain that the royalty were living in luxury and did not care about them. The king's execution, who was charged for treason after attempting to leave the country, and the Reign of Terror, when the government decided to take extreme measures and against people suspected to be enemies of the revolutions, such as priests and nobles, and a series of executions occurred. At least 300,000 suspects were arrested during this period of time, 17,000 officially executed, and around 10,000 people died in prison or without a trial. Also known as the May Revolution, the Argentine Revolution became the start to Argentina's independence. On May of 1810, people in Buenos Aires found out about the King Ferdinand VII being overthrown by Napoleon Bonaparte. The city did not want to serve Napoleon's allegedly alcoholic brother, Joseph, the new king, and instead declared themselves independent and formed their own ruling council until Ferdinand could reclaim the crown. The May Revolution was at the start to show their loyalty to the king, but eventually became the start to their independence. The Russian Revolution was a pair of revolutions, February and Bolshevik, starting from March 8th to November 7th of 1917. The people of Russia grew tired of the Tsar's horrible ruling, where he constantly dissolved Duma, the new parliament achieved in the 1905 revolution. The economy began failing, and Russia failed to involve in World War I successfully, and people have had enough. Workers went on strike and becoming the start to a change in the government system, led by Vladimir Lenin. The Enlightenment thinkers played an important role mainly with the French and Argentine Revolution. The Declaration of Man and of the Citizen became very famous amongst young criollos during the Argentine Revolution. A man by the name of Francisco Suarez believed that the citizens have the right to fight back and find new governors if the current government is not able to serve the public correctly. Through the French Revolution, liberal ideas became popular, written by thinkers like Montesquieu, Jean Rousseau, Voltaire, and Adam Smith. All these thinkers opposed the system of monarchy and absolutism. These Enlightenment ideas helped various different countries in converting government systems into republics, such as France, and constitutional monarchies like Great Britain, where the monarch was not able to gain complete power and authority over the country. These ideas also spread in the South Americas during the Argentine Revolution until books of the Enlightenment thinkers were banned from entering Spanish territories. Both the French and Argentine revolutions were inspired and affected by the American Revolution. On the French side, France's involvement in the American Revolution magnified the monarchy's debts, causing King Louis XVI to invoke higher taxes that made the citizens of France furious. The American Revolution, through Enlightenment ideas, showed people a better government system. On the Argentine side, criollos witnessed on how the US gained independence from Britain and believed they could free themselves from Spanish rule. Both revolutions also led up to the independence of both countries, with Argentina declaring independence from Spanish rule and the unification of France regardless of social status. Russia and France both suffered shortages of food. In France, due to poor harvesting, and in Russia, due to men joining the army instead of working in farms and factories. Both monarchies of the countries also mistreated the lower classes in the community. The French monarchy increased taxes that commoners couldn't pay to solve the debt problems, whilst richer classes like the nobles and clergies did not want to pay and weren't enforced by the monarchy too. There were three estate generals, the nobles, clergies, and the third estate, which represented the rest of France's population, which meant the nobles and clergies could always overrule the third estate whenever they didn't like it. The Russian monarchy, on the other hand, were much more brutal. When workers went on strike, the Shah responded by sending the Petrograd army, who killed some of the protesters. Poverty is another significant cause of both revolutions, and people struggling with money were the ones who joined the revolution. Before the revolution started, all three countries had monarchs with overpowered reign over the people. Tsar Nicholas II in Russia, King Louis XVI in France, and Joseph Bonaparte in Argentina. All the leaders did not care about the people of their country and did not treat them right. The citizens did not believe in the leaders and wanted change in the government. All three revolutions also produced a change in government systems for the betterment of the common people. Absolute monarchy to republic for France, Spanish monarchy to representative democracy for Argentina, and Tsarist autocracy for communism for Russia. In contrast, the Shah's struggles with bad leadership and unsuccessfully involving in World War I caused a pair of revolutions, whereas France's revolution sparked from King Louis XVI's problems in economics with growing monarchy debts. Poor harvesting caused the prices of food in France, and insufficient amount of people working in the farm and factory industry because they joined the army caused the repeating shortage of food in Russia. The French Revolution brought the concept of constitutional monarchy and destroyed feudalism, whilst the Russian Revolution introduced the concept of communism and ended Tsarist autocracy. Between the Argentine and Russian Revolution, Argentina received economical growth and became a large product distributor, whereas Russia received both economical and industrial growth, lowering down poverty rates and in a short period of time becoming a very significant world power. Lastly, between all three revolutions, the monarchies of the countries did not care about the people. In France, the monarchy left them to starve in the streets and not able to afford bread. In Argentina, despite the people from Buenos Aires paying their taxes, the Spanish monarchy did not send support when they were attacked by the British, and Buenos Aires people felt cheated on. In Russia, the protesters were faced with brutal reply from the Petrograd army ordered by the Tsar. And that's all the time I have. Thank you for watching.